Back in the early 2000s, Spider-Man was a worldwide sensation, with each film in his original trilogy reaching the top 3 highest films in the box office of their respective years. With such a popular and successful franchise, it makes sense that Sony would eventually want to move on to sharing Spider-Man in other mediums, especially video games. Starting in the early 2000s, tie-in video games were ultra popular. It was a guarantee that Spider-Man would receive one, and the franchise did, 3 in fact. One tie-in game for each film in the franchise. Now, these games, particularly the second one, were highly praised for their engaging combat, side missions, story mode, and especially the web-swinging mechanics. 2007 saw the release of Spider-Man 3 on May 4th. A tie-in game for Spider-Man 3 was released 2 days before the film to market the movie. The movie and game met mixed reviews.
Hey guys, get the fuck out of the way! I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!
And failed to meet the expectations of many fans. However, the film made so much money that the studio found it obvious to greenlight the 4th film in the series, along with the 4th game. Spider-Man 4 was set to release on May 4th, 2011. However, due to studio interference, Sam Raimi sadly left the project, which led to most of the cast and crew leaving as well, and the subsequent tie-in game being cancelled. Some early gameplay footage can be found on YouTube, and I'll leave the link to this footage in the description. Other than a few official storyboards and this gameplay footage, not much of Spider-Man 4 has been officially revealed to the public. But not to many people's knowledge, a 4th Spider-Man trilogy game was in fact released. On October 2nd, 2007, Spider-Man Friend or Foe released. Spider-Man Friend or Foe is an often forgotten and dismissed game that ended up being the last piece of Raimi content to ever release. Friend or Foe takes place in the 71002 universe, an alternate universe to the official Raimi universe where none of the villains die. Friend or Foe is a beat-em-up level platformer where you and a potential partner take control of Spider-Man and his greatest allies and villains. Friend or Foe is always dismissed as a childish adventure game and beat-em-up, but it's so much more than that for Spider-Man fans. Sure, the combat is very repetitive, but the story offers interesting and unique characters, situations, and dialogue. I mean, being able to fight Venom with black-suited Spidey and Blade together is a cool-ass feeling you can't find in a lot of Marvel games. Alongside that, the voice acting is really, really good. James Arnold Taylor of Obi-Wan fame is a fantastic Spider-Man, and to be honest, I wish he voiced Spidey more often in small animated projects. The game starts you off in New York City, where Spider-Man gets reintroduced to all his iconic Raimi villains.
Old dull evening. Then, boom! The nut jobs show up. My old pals, Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Feels like a family reunion. If my family were comprised of lunatics! Shoo-wee! Venom, my friend, you need to get yourself some breath mints.
You then get some help from New Goblin, voiced by the spectacular Josh Keaton. See what I did there? Anyways, this is definitely one of the funniest Spider-Men to date. I mean, his quips hit, and they're all really well timed, and James Arnold Taylor's voice really is so good in this game. Spidey, New Goblin, and his villains then get attacked by odd symbiote creatures before getting teleported somewhere else. Spidey gets beamed up to the helicarrier and meets Nick Fury in a really great scene.
Hello?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The anti-terrorist organization?
That's just one part of our initiative. The rest is top secret.
Your top secret and your headquarters is a giant flying aircraft carrier?
You'd be surprised how rarely anybody looks up.
It's fun to see this Tobey-esque Spider-Man get to interact with a version of Nick Fury. Fury and his computer bring a fun dynamic to the game that bounces off of Spidey really well. Spidey then heads to Japan, where he and Prowler, for some reason, encounter Black Cat. Then Spidey teams up with Black Cat, and they fight and recruit Doc Ock and Green Goblin as a sort of tutorial level. During this, we notice that they are being controlled by mysterious eye runes that are somehow connected to the symbiotes. I gotta say that these couple levels are so nostalgic to me. I mean, I remember being so stuck on that Doc Ock level until I had my dad beat it for me. In the Tokyo level, we get to travel these neon rainy rooftops, and for a PS2 game at the time, it's kind of an awesome set piece. The level design is really well done, and so are the graphics in this game. I mean, yeah, it's very straightforward and easy, and the graphics can be dismissed as cartoony, But I really love the style the characters have, and the designs don't feel too cartoony or too realistic, so it gives you this nice vibe. Very reminiscent of the Raimi movies and how they had a certain cheesiness but kept a serious tone and message. Then we travel to Tangaroa Island, where we defeat and recruit Scorpion and recruit Iron Fist. I really love that Iron Fist is in this game, and I wish there were more friends rather than foes, because we don't get a lot of, I feel like it'd be awesome if we had Daredevil or Doctor Strange in this game, but I do realize that at the time they could only put some lesser known heroes in, so that's why we get only Iron Fist and one other friend we'll get to a bit later. We travel to Cairo and defeat and recruit Sandman and Lizard. By now the game gets a little bit repetitive, or very. I mean, it definitely picks up because we get some more fun characters, but at this point it gets a little tiring of defeating the same enemies, which are the Phantoms, over and over and over. Spidey and Fury then travel to Transylvania, where we meet Blade and Venom, and recruit them both. Before now, none of the villains were aware of who was controlling them and the NPC Phantoms that we've been beating up along the way, but Venom remembers a Bubble Man. Spidey recognizes this as Mysterio and heads to Nepal, the origin of these NPCs and the mind control. Spidey goes to fight Mysterio, but is too weak to fight the Phantoms guarding Mysterio.
Those Phantoms are through the roof. Come back to the helicarrier.
No time. Look at the army Mysterio's built with one meteor shard. Imagine what he'll do with more.
No, the black suit is too dangerous.
Sorry, Nick, but it's time to fight fire with fire. Hi, I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But I'm not feeling so friendly right this second.
One, look at yourself. You are no better than me. That suit
Will come off. Unfortunately for you, crazy megalomania lasts forever. Nick, it's over. I got the shards, Mysterio is down, and I'd like to go home now.
This is one of the coolest scenes in the whole game. The game really did a good job at integrating a new and fun storyline that uses the black suit way better than the third game did. After beating Mysterio, Spider-Man returns to the helicarrier and gets the suit removed by Nick Fury.
Take your girl out to dinner. Enjoy yourself. You earned it.
Nick, so those shards we collected, they're dangerous and...
They're in good hands.
Teleport sequence initiated.
Mysterio was onto something. I want the remaining meteors analyzed until we know what makes them tick and how we can use them.
Right away, Colonel. What should I name the project file?
Considering the mess these things have made, Carnage. Call it Project Carnage.
Affirmative. Project Carnage initiated.
The game was obviously trying to set up a potential sequel featuring Carnage as the main villain, but that never happened. Friend or Foe received generally negative ratings, but for those around my age when it released, it's a hidden classic. I mean, replaying the game with the black suit and earning different areas for the local versus mode was really fun. Speaking of, after you complete the game, you are in a Super Smash Bros. Like versus mode that makes the whole game feel worth playing through. I remember pouring hours into this mode as a kid. That combined with this banger of an original soundtrack, a fun story, and again, tons and tons of cool characters to play as makes me appreciate this game so much more. It has its faults. I mean, it's insanely repetitive and Spidey can't really swing, but yeah. But in the end, it's a cool forgotten end, in quotes, to the Raimiverse, and the closest thing, until No Way Home, that we got to an end of the Raimiverse. One interesting thing I wanted to add at the end is that some content was locked for different systems. I mean, the PS2 version had almost everything, but only the PSP got Electro and Carnage. I mean, I can only find one photo of Carnage from this game, and one video of Electro. And only the Xbox 360, Wii, and PC versions got Silver Sable as a starter hero, like Prowler. I found this weird as a kid, and I still do, but I have no clue why they did that. But I hope with the increasing popularity of the Raimiverse, more people look back on this game and see this weird semi-finale to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I mean, it's worth a playthrough if you can find it cheap. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this retrospective on this game. It was obviously very inspired by Godzilla Mendoza and his video on the Spider-Man games. So I'm going to leave his channel link in the bio, even though probably if you're watching me, you probably watched every video by him. But yeah, anyways, Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna be back on this channel. I'm gonna try and post weekly. It's a new year, you know. Gotta stay on that grind. So thank you so much and have a wonderful night. Love you guys.